Cain refused the sacrifice.
That's right, it's time. It's time for soul reaving.
Does this game work without having to patch it?
I had to do some shit. Because this is a video game from 2001. Anyway, last time.
At last. I must say,
Are you starting
I'm
this game new?
disappointed
Like,
in
you
your
haven't played it
progress.
before?
I imagined you'd be here sooner.
Look,
Tell
it's...
me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you
This
when
cutscene
you ordered me
seems
into the abyss?
small.
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? As such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Cain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Cain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours. You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds. Completely.
Yeah! So this is basically the last scene of Soul Reaver 1.
Raziel, Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
Oh, it's so good!
Where am I? Is the usual question. In your case, when might be more apt.
Let me just make sure. So Mobius was in Blood Omen. I think the cutscenes are just 800 by 600 and forced that resolution switch, and I don't...
Very well, you old snake. If you'd prefer I use
Oh,
my
for, like,
bare
fixing it?
hands-
Yeah.
This is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
That's a trustworthy... Video game. Video game.
Uh-oh.
Oh god, the disc is skipping.
Yeah, yeah. It's why about video games digitally now. We don't use Final anymore.
Can't believe this video game from literally 22 years ago needs to be force quit. It worked when I tested it, which is my favorite phrase. It worked yesterday. Alright, come on. Okay, cool. So... Alright. I can't get the task manager up because it's on the other monitor. I cannot. Hold it. So highlight it. Okay. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, what if I love this. Oh, is it because of fucking GOG Galaxy thinking? All right, now if I I had to open up another desktop so I could finally... Okay. Fantastic. It's all fine now. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Fucking GOG.
You have to restart the game?
Yeah, I do.
And this game is from the era of unskippable cutscenes, so I assume you can't skip them.
I can skip the pre-rendered CG cutscene. While you're doing this, I'm over here having Dark Elf orgies. Yeah, the Dark Elves are one of my favorite factions in that game. Because they have a bunch of good offensive options.
I'm playing Lizardmen.
Lizardmen, they have dinosaurs. And that's about it.
I mean, that's all they need.
I'm just making sure. Okay, I bet I could figure out how to make this run in a window. But fuck it.
Where am I? Is the usual question. In your case, when might be more apt.
Very well, you old snake. If you'd prefer I use my bare hands...
This is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent facade, Mobius. I know who and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Mobius?
My role as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel. No, you don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Cain, some 30 years from now.
You two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Death comes for us all, Raziel. It's just a matter of time.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well. And it grieves me to see how cruelly Cain has used you. I knew you when you were one of the Sarafan Brotherhood, Raziel. We were even close.
Oh, please.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Sarafan have long since passed.
God, this game's so good.
This is a more cynical and indecorous age. My mercenary army now inhabits this stronghold. We strive to honor the memory of the Sarafan with our own humble crusade.
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge of the Circle, the most depraved and decadent example of his whole degenerate race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow Guardians as they cowered defenseless in this room.
And you somehow survived this massacre?
I and 2 others. The Circle was devastated. Only we 3 were spared.
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I don't naively devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me so? Your malefactor, Cain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. We both want Cain dead. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man. I know all about your sordid little schemes, but you're simply out of your depth on this one.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let me show you. Even now, Cain is lying in wait for you, unaware that I've snatched you out of the time stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very pillars he is destined to destroy, foolishly confident that he has eluded your grasp.
The pillars are still standing in this time.
Yes, Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We who serve the pillars maintain their delicate balance, and Cain is destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns. I believe you have already endured the wasteland wrought by his terrible, selfish decision. Cain's very existence is a cancer upon this world. As long as he lives, all of Nosgoth is in peril. You may never again be human, Raziel. But you can re-embrace the essence of your humanity and the nobility of your Sarafan heritage. Go to him, Raziel, and end this. But first, you will need to find your way out of the stronghold, and in this, I'm afraid I cannot help you. My soldiers will not understand your appearance here. They will try to kill you. You needn't fear them, of course. They're no match for you. Try to keep the casualties to a minimum. But do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
Oh, it's so good.
Alone now, I surveyed my surroundings and noticed a second time-streaming chamber. Its entrance identical to the first, but with one distinction. That crystal was significant, but how, I had not yet discovered.
Anyway, welcome to Soul Reaver 2, the sequel to Soul Reaver. This time, you can use the right stick to move the camera.
Does the controller work now?
Yes. I have to use the mouse for the menus because PC gaming. You're like, why don't you emulate the PS2 version? And the answer to that is, that's for cowards. I bought this legally, god damn it. I'm gonna sit here in my time vortex with my vampire friends. But yeah, I have to press escape to pull up the pause menu.
Can you not use, say, Steam Big Picture to assign...
This is the GOG version.
You can still put it in Steam as a non-Steam game and assign controller buttons to it.
Hey, what's up?
Or use Joy to Key or something.
I love holding the auto face button to auto face. Alright, so... I love holding Devour Soul to feed. There we go. Now we're playing a video game. Yay! I don't need spiky objects to impale people anymore. I can impale them with my hand.
You had the fingernails for the job all.
Throughout the stronghold, I discovered evidence of my former nobility and my life as a Sarafan priest. This was the heritage so foully stolen from me when Cain raided my sacred crypt and defiled me.
Alright. I'm gonna dip out. I'll talk to y'all later.
Alright.
Bye. I might also drop out. My head's been killing me.
I understand. Every time, whenever I play a good game, people are just like, "Why? I gotta go."
I mean, I like Soul Reaver. I just also need to close my eyes before my brain leaks out my nose.
In my head, absolutely just makes the noise of Crash Bandicoot. It's fine. Anyone else?
Away from the influence of Mobius's cursed staff, I could feel the strength of the Soul Reaver slowly returning. If that orb was as debilitating to vampires as it was to the blade, it gave Mobius a powerful advantage over his enemies. I finally understood how Mobius's crusade could decimate the vampires so successfully. If he could immobilize his enemies, they were at his mercy. But why, I wondered, would the staff have any effect on the Reaver?
Because the Soul Reaver's a vampiric blade. Yeah.
As I neared the stronghold's inner sanctum, a strange sensation crept over me. An indescribable feeling of displacement, a sense of vertigo, as reality itself appeared to warp and bend around me. The disturbance seemed to emanate from the sanctuary's furthest chapel. As I cautiously approached, the sense of dislocation intensified with each step.
So this was the tomb of the beloved King William the Just, beatified here as the martyr and catalyst of Mobius's crusade. I was reminded of Kane's journey as a fledgling vampire, how Mobius coerced him to travel back in history and assassinate William, thus igniting a genocidal hatred of vampires among the citizens of Nosgoth.
I remember
and
that.
Here I discovered the source of the displacement. The Soul Reaver itself, laid out like a holy
Oh
relic.
fuck, it's a time paradox.
Apparently in the battle between William and Kane. I had not thought such a thing was possible. Until, of course, Kane shattered the blade against me when he tried to strike me down. Thus, the captive spirit inhabiting the Reaver was released, and binding itself to me became my symbiotic weapon. And so the Reaver met its former self, still imprisoned in this corporeal shell. I watched, mesmerized, as the Wraith blade uncoiled itself and snaked down the length of the physical blade. Embracing its twin, its mirror self, the Reaver's long dormant spirit was now fully aroused. And for the first time, I felt the true presence of this other entity. Willful, ravenous, and deranged from thousands of years of imprisonment. The Reaver was now in command, and I, now merely its helpless host, felt my soul being leached to restore the blade. But the Reaver knew better than to destroy its host, and just as I neared the brink of oblivion, the blade released its hold on me. As I recovered, I realized we were now bound together in a fragile alliance. The Reaver no longer merely my symbiotic weapon, but a sentient parasite competing for control.
What have you done to me, Mobius? Is this your trap?
How mine? Don't forget it was Kane who led you here, not I. While you curse me, the only soul in Nosgoth ready to guide and assist you, Kane laughs at our folly and revels in your dismay.
These blades, now coiled in sinister embrace, have inspired terror in the hearts of creatures far more durable than you, old man. Bound together as they are, I can only imagine what they could do to your soul's fragile shell.
Raziel, I beg you to stay your hand. This was none of my doing. I have sought only to aid you in your righteous quest.
Why, you're trembling, Mobius. Has your confidence abandoned you? You seem to have made a fatal error by leaving your precious staff behind. Is that where all your courage comes from?
Listen to me, Raziel. You don't know what you're doing. I have taken an enormous risk by appearing here before you, so defenseless, yet eager to prove my good intentions. If there's anything left of the Seraphim in you, you won't do this. While you threaten me, your true enemy eludes you.
Don't concern yourself with Kane, old man. He'll join you in hell soon enough. As you said, death comes for us all.
Yes, the wheel of fate demands it.
What did you say?
The wheel of fate. The inexorable cycle of death and rebirth to which all men are compelled. We serve the same God, Raziel. To strike me down would be striking God's own attendant. And I don't believe even you would take that risk.
I tire of your games, Mobius. Now that I know you fear me, I needn't concern myself with you. Kane is waiting
I think,
for me.
yes.
Go then, Raziel. Seek Kane out and destroy him in the name of the one God we both serve. You, who were once a Seraphim priest, murdered, profaned, destroyed, and reborn again from his mercy. You are now most powerfully equipped to be his agent, his instrument of restoration and retribution.
My own vengeance is motivation enough.
by my soul. You almost had me, my little blue assassin. But that'll be the one and only chance you get. I assure you of that.
Yeah!
I could now summon the blade at will, regardless of my strength. But once summoned, the blade's ravenous appetite could not be contained. It devoured the souls of its victims, and if I allowed it to become over-aroused, the Reaver would now turn its hunger on me.
Oh, look at that. Now we have the upgraded Soul Reaver.
So this was the legendary Janos Ordren, reputed to have been the most ancient and diabolical vampire to have ever existed. According to folklore, he lived high in the cliffs of Nosgoth's northern mountains and preyed mercilessly on the defenseless villages below. His reign of terror ended when the Sarafan finally hunted him down and tore his throbbing heart from his still-living body. This relic came to be known as the Heart of Darkness, and was supposedly imbued with the power to restore vampiric unlife. The Sarafan therefore guarded it carefully, lest the heart fall into the hands of their enemies. But I wondered, could Janos Ordren truly have been as monstrous as depicted here? Or was this merely artistic license by the Sarafan, who sought to lionize themselves by demonizing their darkest enemy?
The Heart of Darkness. Oh, you just melt him immediately. That's cool.
Strange how my history came full circle. This chapel, I realized, was a memorial to my former Sarafan brethren and myself. All of us martyred here, and then so cruelly profaned by Cain when he imposed his gift on our noble corpses. For the first time, I beheld the image of my Sarafan self, memorialized here among my fallen comrades. It tortured me to see how noble and pure I had been, and what a vile phantasm I had become. And a profound sense of injury, of loss and betrayal welled up in me, so overwhelming I could barely contain it. All I wanted at this moment was to find Cain and destroy him.
This is going to end with Raziel being like, and then it turned out my past self was a war criminal, as I was betrayed by the cruel ironies of fate. Oh, cool. I just wanted to circle. My economy is great. I cannot recruit troops. Yep. And part of that is they want you to use the slave bonuses to try and boost your economy or give you more recruitment.
And for the first time beheld Nosgoth in its former glory. The land overflowed with abundant life and vitality, and I knew with certainty then that the world I had left behind was nothing more than the corpse of Nosgoth, a lifeless husk bled dry by the corruption of Kain's parasitic empire. This was the fragile world Kain sacrificed to preserve his own petty life and ambition, heedless of the profound cost. The sight only deepened my resolve. I sensed that the pillars lay to the northwest. If Kain truly waited to confront me there, I would not disappoint him. As I passed this arcane landmark, a wisp of the Reaver's energy was drawn into the ring, illuminating it. This created a beacon of sorts in the spirit world. If ever I found myself depleted in the spectral realm, and my soul tossed on the ethereal winds, these beacons would draw me back to safety and restore me.
How do I save? Because I hear this game's pretty short. Like in the 6 to 8 hour range. What if I told you that the y-axis was inverted for the swimming controls?
These ancient obelisks were mysteriously attuned to my spiritual essence. By simply touching the symbol, I could safely preserve an imprint of my soul.
Save.
And thus create a milestone to which I could return when weary, and from which I could resume my journey.
I learned how to do a butt stomp in order to make the switch go. A most useful technique indeed.
While I had only just escaped the stronghold, I sensed that in time my journey would return me full circle to this place. Infiltrating the fortress, however, would be no small feat. The balcony that had provided my escape was now well beyond my reach, leaving this massive gateway as the only means of entry. The gates were sealed, but like the time-streaming chamber I had seen earlier, their operation was undoubtedly linked to that odd crystal mounted above the entrance.
Get it! Die, fiend!
Oh, if you let it drink too much, it'll eat you! It'll reave your soul, Raziel! Thank you for your delicious soul. I appreciate it. I realized that with the advent of the PlayStation 2, I was limited in some ways, but granted more fortitude and graphical fidelity. No longer chained to a world without life, without color. I could instead move. Remember when video games used to be cool 22 years ago? Now video games are lame and for nerds. But back in the olden days... be like, yeah, it's a third-person video game where you can glide and jump. And now it's just like, oh, you're a tortured man. Oh, you're a sad father. It's like, no. Let me tell you about these melodramatic vampires. Kratos could never. Is Cain not a sad dad? In some sense, yes.
Had nothing in common with the deranged jackals I left behind in Cain's derelict empire. They seem to retain much of their former humanity. In this era, vampires were clearly not the uncontested predators we had been. These creatures were hunted mercilessly and oppressed. And while I still believed that vampirism was a plague and had to be wiped out, there was nothing noble or righteous in this crusade. This was simply ruthless persecution.
Maybe vampires have a point, you know? Why would you put an axe on that poor dog's head?
The pillars of Nosgoth, pristine, whole, and uncorrupted. I had never beheld them in this undefiled state, yet something profound and indelible resonated within me at the sight. And there, waiting at the very heart of the pillars, was the canker that was destined
my
to
dad.
destroy them.
I hate you, Cain. Let's kiss.
I know you're there, Raziel.
Mobius led me to you, Cain, though I might have guessed you'd meet me here.
And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me?
No, it's the same.
Mobius trawls for the ignorant and unwary, hauling his gasping prey from the streams of their destinies. Stay out of his net, Raziel.
Spare me your elaborate metaphors, Cain. I have pursued you here for one purpose. You will pay for your betrayal, and balance will thus be restored to Nosgoth.
And whose will is satisfied then? The will of Raziel or Mobius?
Would I be better manipulated by you, Cain? Now, turn and face me. The chase is over.
This isn't a chase, Raziel. We are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason. I've seen the beginning and the end of our story, however, and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending of it. You And I...
Yeah!
Face me, Cain. Even you shouldn't die a coward's death.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request?
I recall no such courtesy from you.
Indulge me, Raziel. All I ask is that you listen. This is the sublime moment of our undoing, Raziel. The ineffable fulcrum upon which swings the entirety of our history. This is where all of Nosgoth is betrayed. In this instant, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, is murdered by dark forces bent on overthrowing the Pillars. Her spirit is just now tearing free, lost in the ether, trying to find its way here. You have already seen how she comes to haunt these Pillars.
Bound here by your refusal to die. You are the reason this land becomes diseased. As long as you remain alive, you condemn Nosgoth to an eternity of decay.
Be still, Raziel. See this. As Ariel dies, I am being born to take her place as Balance Guardian. Such is my destiny.
My God.
At the moment of my first cry, Ariel's beloved, the Guardian Nutraptor, finds her corpse. Racked with grief and tormented by suspicions of treachery, Nutraptor plunges into a madness which overflows and infects all of the Guardians who are symbiotically bound, including me. The repercussions of Ariel's assassination were expertly calculated. The entire circle descends into madness, and I am tainted at the moment of my birth, instantly rendered incapable of fulfilling the role destiny has prepared for me.
Shall I show you the same mercy you showed the rest of the circle, then? You blithely murdered them to restore their pillars, yet your hand faltered when it came to the final sacrifice. What makes you exempt, Cain? You're merely the last man standing. Why condemn me for simply carrying out what you hadn't the courage to do yourself?
Let's drop the moral posturing, shall we? We both know there's no altruism in this pursuit. Your reckless indignation led you here. I counted on it. There's no shame in it, Raziel. Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly. 30 years hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a two-sided coin. If the coin falls one way, I sacrifice myself and thus restore the Pillars. But as the last surviving vampire in Nosgoth, this would mean the annihilation of our species. Mobius made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse, I refuse the sacrifice and thus doom the Pillars to an eternity of collapse. Either way, the game is rigged.
We agree, then, that the pillars are crucial and must be restored.
Yes, Raziel. And that's why we've come full circle to this place.
So after all this, you make my case for me. To end this stalemate, you must die so that new Guardians can be born.
Pillars don't belong to them, Raziel. They belong to us.
Your arrogance is boundless, Cain.
There's a third option. A monumental secret, hidden in your very presence here. But it's a secret you have to discover for yourself. Unearth your destiny, Raziel. It's all laid out for you here.
You said it yourself, Cain. There are only two sides to your coin.
Apparently so. But suppose you throw a coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge.
Yeah! Fuck, this game's so cool. What if the coin lands on its edge?
I didn't know what impulse stayed my hand,
Why I had so willingly allowed Cain to escape me.
I believe Defiance ends in such a way that they could have made more.
I had no reason to trust Cain after he had valued me so little. And yet, I found myself intrigued by his words. I had been too cruelly used to so gullibly play his pawn. But if this world truly had secrets to divulge, I was determined to expose them.
I believe Defiance ends in such a way that they could have made more, but it does wrap up at least part of Cain and Raziel's story. I'm over here being like, this is cool. Look at this thing. And the music gets all fucked up and warbly. Once again, most video games don't have voice acting this good today. And this came out 22 years ago.
From the moment of my arrival, I had the constant and palpable sensation of being watched. Someone, it seemed, was keenly interested in my presence here. From the look of it, this door had been sealed for centuries. I began to realize it was no mere coincidence that I found myself standing here, beneath this winged figure with blue skin and cloven hands so like my own, and bearing this unique key. And so it was with a sense of gravity and trepidation that I unsealed that ancient door and crossed the threshold.
I love video games.
As I entered the chamber, I sensed that it had been sealed for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And while this room was clearly built when the pillars were erected, I knew that no human hand could have shaped this place, and that perhaps it had never been seen by human eyes. The surrounding murals depicted a winged race, their features so like my own, but beautiful, where mine were grotesque, and angelic, while mine were demonic. I tried to decipher these images. A great war, but with combatants like none I had ever seen. The pillars, raised by this winged race, who thus defeated their adversaries. The winged beings again, writhing in agony, apparently afflicted with the same bloodthirst I had so recently suffered. And throughout the chamber, inscribed everywhere, images of the Reaver itself. Was this what Cain had urged me to discover? I wondered.
Lies, Raziel. Do not be deceived.
Ah, my ancient benefactor. And I dared to hope we had parted ways forever. The silence was refreshing, but it lasted. No doubt you have a conveniently inexpressible reason for your presence here.
Do not be insolent, Raziel. I am eternally present here and everywhere, now and always. I am the still center of the turning wheel, the hub of this world's destiny.
But perhaps not so omnipotent as you'd have me believe. Your hold on me appears to be tenuous. I no longer seem to need you. Yet I'm guessing you still need me.
This impudence is unworthy of you, Raziel. Do not forget that you have a task to fulfill here. You are indebted to me.
Indebted? You would have me show gratitude for a gift I didn't ask to be bestowed. Do you forget that you forced me to inhabit this vile carcass?
I restored you to yourself, Raziel. It was Cain who destroyed you. The very enemy you've just let slip through your grasp. Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Cain, and not your lackey Mobius.
Mobius is my good servant. I have many.
And if I tell Mobius that he's worshipping a giant squid, do you think his faith will falter?
You have grown willful, Raziel. But beware. To embrace a serpent is to invite poison into your heart. Cain is a sinuous beast. He will seduce and deceive you. You pride yourself on your free will, yet you let that degenerate deter your resolve.
I harbor no illusions about his integrity, nor anyone else's. In fact, I am beset by manipulation on all sides. I merely seek the truth.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth. This is the wheel of fate, the purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses. But the wheel must turn. Death is inexorable and cannot be denied. Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my soul weaver, the scourge of the vampires, reaper of their apostate souls. Remain steadfast, end the vampire's parasitic curse, and restore Nosgoth. Cain's blood belongs on your hands.
Cain indeed deserves to die, for condemning me to this repugnant form. But if and when I kill him, it will be for me alone to decide.
Cain destroyed you without a flicker of remorse. He tore the soul from your noble corpse. And after you had served him faithfully for 1,000 years, he discarded you in the abyss on a jealous whim. Remember your rage, Raziel. Let it guide your hand.
Alright, so is this where I get to the water temple? Well, clearly I need to figure out how to drain the water here. Oh, right! Yeah! I wonder if I'm supposed to even be here right now.
Your destiny beckons.
Vampire. Let's ask Game Facts, because I am not too good for it. Oh, this was FAQ of the month in November 2001. Alright, apparently that was the way to go. I just missed the right place to swim. This game seems much more linear. Which is probably good, because you could tell they were having trouble with Soul Reaver 1. And, like, pretending to be non-linear. See, I'm a Dumbo, because I didn't look up. Because this camera is still not great. And I'm to understand the camera in Defiance also not great.
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered an ancient ruin, unmistakably one of Mobius's time-streaming chambers, but long ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I didn't currently possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
Oh, get it in time. Get it. Oh shit, it's Vorador.
My lurking observer was exposed. The creature vanished when he realized he was discovered, but I caught a glimpse of him, and his features were distinctive enough. This was the vampire Vorador, the monstrous assassin depicted in the stronghold. Strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the Circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me, I would go to him. But first, I needed to find some means of reaching that terrace.
Oh, just like a... You mean like a double jump? I'm gonna keep going.
There appeared to be a passage here, leading northward into the mountains. The opening, however, was obstructed and too high for me to reach. Perhaps later I would find the means to bypass these obstacles.
I wondered if I would be able to jump high. Maybe climb. It was impossible for me to know now, but I would understand soon. Yum, yum, yum.
My lurking friend
when they
was nowhere
die,
to be
but
seen.
he still
But I
keep
found these
sucking?
ruins even
Is that
more
anything?
intriguing. I recognized
Alright,
these
Lionheart.
arcane symbols from the chamber beneath the pillars, and realized that this shrine, too, was sealed to all but the bearer of the Reaver.
I thought about playing Monkey Island, but then I was like, what if I played a game that I enjoyed? So instead I'm gonna have these vampires. Yeah, that's right. It's not that I don't like Monkey Island, it's just... it's an old adventure game. And don't tell Chris this, because he's not here. I think there are better kinds of games out there. It's just one of those things where it's like... Monkey Island thinks it's so much funnier than it is. And I can never square that with the fact that, like, I don't know. I guess people didn't know what jokes were in 1990. It's like, oh, this guy's a used car salesman. And he never shuts the fuck up. I try not to. I'm not Relkin, so I'm not watching television from around the time I was born. But in general, I think I should just stick to episodes of The Simpsons. And I don't know, Seinfeld's fine. Yeah, comedy ages poorly. Yeah, yeah. Ace Ventura and The Mask, I feel like, are pretty good examples of, like, boy. Basically any comedy with Jim Carrey in it from the 90s probably holds up really poorly. That's my hot take. Dumb and Dumber, I bet Dumb and Dumber is probably a mess. I mean, Ghostbusters is still pretty good. I don't know. Oh, well, the secret was, none of those Seth Rogen comedies were actually funny. You were lying to yourself. Alright, let me sum up the Seth Rogen comedy. Weed. Weed. Okay. There. That has been my Seth Rogen impression. Hanging out with Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow and... Oh yeah, no, well Jeff Backelar's like, I don't understand things. This Mario movie is gonna be crazy. There, that's my Jeff Backelar impression. And you're like, they're the same impression, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
throughout this ancient shrine, murals depicted the winged race and the apocalyptic war against their mysterious and equally inhuman adversaries. These winged beings, it seemed, were not only the architects of the pillars, but of this enigmatic place as well. And just as in the pillar's chamber, this shrine was adorned throughout with imagery of the Reaver, depicted with the reverence of a holy icon.
I know some of the voice actors from this game are still active. Yeah, Tony J, of course, is, you know, the big one. R.I.P. Tony J. But I believe Simon Templeman and Michael Bell are both still alive and might still be working. Because they did that Rugrats, Paramount Plus, that Rugrats reboot. And I believe they got most of the original cast. The guy from Dead Space 3. The guy from Dark Souls 3. The guy from Don't Starve 3D. Dragon Age Origins. Yeah, he's... Oh shit, you're right! Is Simon... Is he the evil German... He's the guy... He's the bad guy in Dead Space 3? Because that would check out. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so they're both still working. I thought myself fortunate to no longer be pushing so many blocks. It seemed strange, not pushing blocks. How else was I to know I was playing a video game? Nonetheless, I moved forward. trepidation filling my steps. I will say one of the weird things about this game, very much tying back into Blood Omen, is just knowing the weird and messy history of this series. And knowing whatever ideas Silicon Knights would have had for this game are so different. Because if I remember correctly, the first Soul Reaver wasn't even meant to be a Legacy of Kain game at first. It was just a concept that Amy Hennig was working on called Shifter. Of course, if Dennis Dyack wasn't, like, infamously a colossal piece of shit, I think this... I don't know if we would have even gotten 4 of those games. Oh, that's how you were supposed to shoot the... I see. Oh, yeah. The other thing is, I feel like enough people have started watching that documentary on Psychonauts 2, and it's just like, wow, it turns out making video games is a mess. I assume I have to raise this somehow. Nope. Yeah, I'd be very interested in a behind the scenes on Mario. I don't know, maybe Mario, the original Super Mario Bros. Happened without any difficulty whatsoever. Maybe Shigeru Miyamoto was just like, alright, you get this, what if he jumped? And everyone's like, holy shit, man. Well, it's certainly good that I have this, okay. So, get this. You can move that pillar. Huh? Which is great, because it looks like all the other ones. No, it doesn't, actually. Okay, that's my bad. It doesn't look like the other ones. I'm just a dum-dum.
I'm back.
Hey, Gino. How do you feel about vampires?
I hate them.
Oh, well. So does Raziel.
But he is a vampire.
Nah, he resents what he became.
What?
Also, I mean, he's like a former vampire. Now he's just some sort of wraith.
I didn't know you could retire from vampirism.
Yeah, you can. I have an anime about that.
The retired vampire?
Yeah, he used to be a vampire. He got better.
Oh, that's a plot of True Blood.
Yeah.
I see he still looks like this.
Yeah, it's still... Yeah, I'm still third-person video gaming.
Does he still glide?
Yep. All of my abilities from the first game are here.
Did you have to regain them
Nope.
slowly and painstakingly?
Nope.
That's good.
And now the Soul Reaver, will devour my soul if I reave too hard.
That sounds bad.
Yeah. It's good.
You don't want that, right?
No.
Is it still a Legend of Zelda situation where when you're at full health, reaving of the souls is easy?
No.
But if you're
now I can just turn it on and off.
Okay, but you can't. If you leave it on too long, it kills you.
If you use it too much, it'll eat you.
How much? Like, does eating you? Does that kill you? Does
I don't know.
Your HP a little?
Do I have the Fire Reaver? No. I guess I don't have the Fire Reaver, which I found in the first game. Because it does absolutely fucking nothing. Yeah. Yeah, the Fire Reaver let you shoot fire. It was good.
Does reaving means cutting, right?
Yeah.
You're cutting souls?
Yeah. You know, yeah.
Okay. Is that little green indicator the indicator of you using your powers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Gotta figure out how to reflect. Gotta bounce the light.
That's fun.
Because, this is a video game.
Yep. I really need to put more, like, reflection puzzles in my home for security.
Yeah. If video games have taught me anything, very little block pushing thus far.
In my house?
In this game. Or in your house.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was gonna say, because in my house, I've got at least 2 to 3 block pushing puzzles.
Yeah, like, how else are you gonna...
How else are you gonna flush a toilet?
How else are you gonna flush a toilet? You gotta push the... And then it goes do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yep.
They should do that at Super Nintendo World.
Yep.
It would lower the quality of guest satisfaction, but the sickos would love it.
It'd be good for company morale.
It's, you know, you gotta stop thinking about, like, you can live in the Disney world where it's a police state.
I've got an idea.
Yeah.
When you do the block puzzle, it should go poo 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 poo.
Yep. Okay, we did it. Did it in one.
Yeah.
Also, if I kill someone with the Soul Reaver, I don't get to suck in their soul because the Reaver steals it. So now I can't. Now if I want to actually heal, I gotta make sure to turn it off first. That's what we call friction. That's game juice?
You want the game friction. Are the walls still covered in spikes that you need to throw things on?
No, thankfully, Raziel discovered that as a vampire man with giant claw hands, he can just impale someone with them himself.
Okay. He stopped throwing things onto walls.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, I see. I love mirror puzzles.
Everyone does. That's why they're in every game. Because people like them so much.
It's like, hey, remember the Spirit Temple, Gino?
Nope.
No, you don't.
I didn't play.
Because you were too busy.
Ocarina of Time?
You didn't have Ocarina of Time. You were too busy playing, I don't know, Genso Suikoden 2.
And Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie. High-quality video game.
Actually, technically, I had the guidebook for Banjo-Kazooie. I did not play it. I played Banjo-Tooie.
Oh, no.
I liked Tooie. I did not have the guidebook to it.
Yeah, I have a fondness for Banjo-Tooie. I acknowledge that parts of that game are rough.
Eh. It's fine.
It's fine. It's
a fine game.
It feels that game is maybe like rare overstepping. It's not as crazy as thankfully
it perhaps went as far as that as the N64 could go.
Yes.
And maybe, you know, they could have laid up. I'm glad that once Microsoft bought Rare, we finally got the what is the pop and
the
swap?
Stop and Swap.
Yeah. Pop and squat.
Yeah, the Papa Squat. That's what they call it.
What was Dan Reichert's car combat game? Twisted Metal? Yes, that is Twisted Metal. We should play... Oh, you know what I should pick? I should pick Twisted Metal. Podcast.
I cannot think of a less Deep Listens game. Well, I can, but...
You can, but...
I can think of several.
Yes. You can think of several games that will never be picked.
But... how do I get up here?
You need to talk about the Clown Man and his ice cream truck and his ennui.
He's gonna be played by Samoa Joe.
Are they making a Twisted Metal movie?
They're making a Twisted Metal TV series.
What?
With Anthony Mackie and Samoa Joe.
What?
Samoa Joe is going... I believe Samoa Joe is not the voice of Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth?
Everyone's favorite
Psycho
Twisted
Clown.
Twisted Metalist. But I believe he is going to be the body for Samoa Joseph.
Ah, Samoa Joseph, yes. If you glide over...
No, I cannot.
If you glide over something that has fire in it, is there an updraft that you can...
No, this is not Wind Waker.
Ah, boo.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. My favorite character from my favorite video game, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Yep. That's a game everyone remembers. I own that game.
I own that game. Well, I got it on PS Plus at least.
I bought it with my own money.
You have my condolences. That game is...
You understand?
Sad?
Everyone remembers the BioShock pictures.
My favorite PlayStation character, the Big Daddy from BioShock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famously a PlayStation character.
Famously a PlayStation character, Isaac Clarke from Dead Space.
That's the one.
He was a DLC character.
At least Parappa the Rapper was in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, like, the 3 characters that Sony actually owned were there. But not the characters people associate as, like, being iconic PlayStation brand characters.
Yeah.
And also, like, you hear stories of how, like, when they wanted to get Cole from Infamous, Sucker Punch forced them to put in both Cole and Evil Cole.
Oh, good.
And that's why there are 2 versions of Cole, everyone's favorite PlayStation character. White man with buzz cut.
McZappison.
In a 2000s video game. Oh yeah, that's right. And they didn't have Snake because they had Metal Gear Rising Raiden, and instead of and they had the reboot Dante.
Oh, right. Reboot Dante.
Hey. It's like They Live. Isn't that, like, cool? It's not like this anime bullshit. Nah, it's cool. This Dante fucks. He's not a cool guy who wants to... He's not your goofy, weird uncle who cares about pizza.
That's a game that we should probably play it probably at some point.
Yeah. Oh, right. You're right, Lionheart. I did forget about the infamous game where Troy Baker plays a Native American. That was a PS4 launch title.
Was it?
Or it was launch window.
I didn't remember that they made any Infamouses after the PS3. I assumed it went away.
I mean, they made Sushi Ghost. Which is what I call that game.
Like Sushi Go, but a joke?
No, like Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, okay.
And that game did better than any of the Infamous games ever did. So I bet we will not see Evil Cole ever again. All right,
That's a shame.
No, it isn't.
Everyone loves Evil Cole.
No, it isn't. All right, let's see.
Everyone remembers and loves Evil Cole.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do when sitting around with the fellas is remembering Evil Cole.
Yeah.
This is just that Twitter line about guys just sitting around naming old basketball players.
Yes.
Having the best time.
What if, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is what if Assassin's Creed, but like white person making, what if they actually did the feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game that people have been whining about for ages? I did it again. I fucking missed the stupid pillar that you can move because it doesn't look different enough from the pillars.
Hate to see it.
Anyway, look at this shit. I love video games.
Yeah, I mean, if you just had to sit around naming video game characters that made you happy when you heard their name, what's your go-to?
Solid Snake.
Oh, that's a boring one.
No,
that's
it's a good
Lavit
name.
Slambert.
Lavit Slambert, yeah. Yeah, Lavit Slambert.
What's the name of the dude who rollerblades around in Metal Gear Solid 2? Fat Man?
Fat Man. Enjoy life and be fat! What?
No,
It's Marth. I'm being told it's Marth.
Marth Arby.
Marby.
Everyone remembers Marby.
I did it.
Wumba Wumba. That's a character that people should probably forget. Air would prefer if you forgot Wumba Wumba.
My favorite character, Bart's Klauser.
Everyone loves Bart's Klauser.
I think I got the ability. Did I get the fire arrows?
Doopa-doopa-doopa-doo.
No. Listen, the people... Her name's Aerith, okay? And the people who still stubbornly refuse... The people who still are out there being like... Hold it.
I suddenly
Aerith,
felt
you son of a
the Reaver
bitch.
quickening of its own volition. Just as in William's
Aloof.
chapel, the balance of power tangibly shifted.
Yeah, and
Voracious
Ferris,
and willful,
a.k.a.
the
Salsa.
Soul Reaver was now in control. And
Did the
merely
Soul Reaver get pulled into the hole against...
The Reaver plunged itself
King's
into
will?
that mysterious altar, and devouring the energy that emanated from within,
Seems like it.
drained this place of its power.
Now I have the Dark Reaver.
The Reaver
Oh
released
no!
me, and I realized
yes?
as I recovered control
Is that good or bad?
these
Are we excited
ancient
about the Dark
shrines were
Reaver?
forges, each purpose
I
built
bet
to enhance the Reaver.
I bet I can use it to open doors I could not previously open.
That would be my guess.
But yeah, no, my general feeling is like, if you're the person still stubbornly calling her heiress,
now I
what are you
understood
doing?
The purpose
Like,
of the mysterious
how?
basins I had seen
What?
throughout my journey.
What are
They
you
were
trying to
elemental
prove?
fonts, each attuned to a fundamental
This bad translation from 26 years ago.
With the same elemental attunement was
My affinity to it is more important than being correct.
Enabled me to re-imbue the blade.
If her name isn't Eris, I can't go on.
Therein.
This tattoo will make no sense.
Yeah.
Concentric circles, one eclipsing the other.
What other? I mean,
I recognize this symbol.
We
from
loved
the door
all of the
sealing
character
that other
names in
ancient
Eternal
shrine.
Sonata. They were
I
all
had
good.
seen in the lake outside the
Claves.
Sarafan stronghold.
Friedrich Chopin.
Now, armed as I was with the elemental power of darkness,
Ever not funny?
I could return and gain entry.
No, I wish we could do something with that game for the fucking endurance run. I don't know what we would do with it.
And also, none of us want to play it again.
Also, none of us want to play it. You know, that would be funny if we did if we ever did something in person. If it was like,
hey man,
some sort of...
when I am gainfully employed and not, I would consider doing a in-person podcast thing. I think that'd be fun, but for now,
if we ever did an in-person community endurance run,
yeah,
it would be
well,
funny
it's okay. By the time we are all capable of hanging out in person together. Oh, cutscene.
You're a ragged excuse for a savior.
Vorador.
I see my reputation precedes me.
It does.
I think it would be funny if we had an in-person one and you had to compete to see who did not have to play Eternal Sonata. Although we would complete Eternal Sonata, but we would not. Be some sort of way to pass the burden, the terrible burden.
Are you the catalyst of these events, or the answer to them?
I don't know what you mean.
It's facial
I
animations.
will speak plainly then.
Is this a PlayStation 1 game? No,
this is PS2.
It had to be a PS2.
Seeing you crawl from
Hey, the PS2 looked like this, by the way.
Keep makes me question your purpose here.
Well, sweet.
And what should I make
just
of
like
your appearance?
Baldur's Gate.
Not human, clearly.
Well,
and more demon than vampire. And the pillars.
Burn.
You said that, and I was thinking about the original games, and I was like, oh wait, right. You're blind when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3.
And so I ask you plainly, are you the instrument of the pillars' destruction, or their salvation?
Neither.
This Wolong Fallen Dynasty game, is this another Ninja?
Yes.
Let us look at the other
Souls,
side of the
Neo,
I have
Stranger of Paradise. Anyway,
Stranger of Paradise.
As you blithely unlocked secrets that have been sealed and forbidden for
I'm hearing the
thousands
talking.
of years.
Okay.
The path you have been treading is open to only one being. You don't know.
What does the main character from Gargoyles have to say?
I have been many things. If you find me ignorant, enlighten me.
What's the point? This world is beyond redemption. Let the human cattle have it.
I would expect better than meek capitulation from you.
Centuries of persecution have taught me well. 500
Ability to
years
turn on
ago,
subtitles
our
or
race
no?
was
No.
nearly exterminated by the fanatical crusades of the Sarafan. And now the same sick drama unfolds again. In merely a decade, Mobius's cutthroat citizen army has nearly accomplished what the Sarafan could not.
Just the guy who
Vampires
voiced
meddling in the affairs of
Villain
men.
from Mass Effect?
Look where he's
I think a
Probably.
please be quiet.
What am I to make
The
of
please be
these
quiet
secrets
was a
I've
standing
uncovered, then?
request.
The depictions of the winged race, the pillars, and the Reaver.
Fairy tales, boy. The delusions of an ancient culture clinging to hope long after the world had discarded them. Their bloodline trickled away until only one of the ancients remained, sustained solely by obligation and his unfaltering faith in the old prophecies.
Yeah, this guy's from Blood Omen.
But you see, even if you are who you appear to be, it no longer matters. You're simply too late. Janos Audron, the Reaver Guardian, the last of the ancients, and my maker, was murdered by the Seraphan nearly 5 centuries ago. He alone would have the answers you seek, but his secrets died with him. I don't know how you've come even this far without his guidance, or without the Reaver, stolen these 500 years ago by the Seraphan. I'm afraid, my friend, that you and all of us are out of luck.
I had no less reason to trust Vorador than anyone else I had met. In fact, the ancient vampire was the most forthright being I had encountered thus far. If Janos Audron was the key to all this, then I would find him, and Mobius's time-streaming device would provide me passage. But first, I had to find a way back into the stronghold, and I suspected I would find the means within the lake's mysterious shrine.
All right. Yeah, so Wolong is, yeah, it's Neo, it's Stranger of Paradise, it's that kind of game, but with a little more wuxia and a little more Sekiro.
I see.
It's definitely also a lot more forgiving than those games tend to be. Like Stranger of Paradise, you pretty much always have a homie with you if you want.
You are Lu Bu?
No. No, you are a player-created character. I bet you fight Lu Bu at some point.
Okay, Legacy of Cain Man is in Blood Omen, which is Legacy of Cain. Legacy of Cain Defiance, Soul Reaver 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
James Johnson.
Sure.
Oh.
He's in Art the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits. Oh. No, I don't know who James Johnson is, though, so maybe, is that Vamp's name?
I don't know.
No, Vamp is, Phil Lamar.
Oh.
Who is in a bunch of stuff.
Lamar never stops working.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't Phil Lamar kind of a chameleon when it comes to voice acting?
Yeah.
Yes, he's one of the most...
He's Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack, he's Hermes Conrad, he's some characters in Final Fantasy X, I believe.
Yes.
He's Green Lantern.
That's right.
He's in Mad TV.
Yeah.
So, I've heard a lot about the original Soul Reaver.
Yeah.
Is this one as good? Does it hold up?
I think this one might be less rough around the edges. In a way that I like. Because
I thought you liked the rough edges.
That's what they say about me.
Shit out of that. Does using the Soul Reaver, feeding its souls do anything good?
No.
Or is it just pure downside?
It's pure downside. It is, would you like to kill this thing quickly? If yes, Reeve Soul. Otherwise, if you want to recover health, you should not reave soul. All right, I'm gonna go save and call it here. If I can find the dang save point, because this.
See, if you're just emulating the PS2 version.
Yeah, like a fucking coward.
I'm being an asshole.
Would this game have run at 60 on the PS2? I don't know, maybe.
Eventually. A surprising number of PS2 games ran at 60 frames per second.
Those people knew restraint.
Yeah.
Jack 3 ran at 60 frames per second, and that game has a giant machine run across the desert at the end of the game.
Wait, you're telling me Naughty Dog is good at making PlayStation games?
I'm telling you, Naughty Dog has some good programmers, yeah.
Alright.
I believe you.
I will call it here. Hey, guess what?
What?
This game's pretty cool.
Looks pretty cool.
Have you had any more problems with crashing and stuff since you first started?
Thankfully, no. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Is there anyone I can raid? Let's find out. Anyone who needs a little bump? No. Alright.
I've not started streaming yet. I mean...
Are you gonna go back to playing more Suikoden?
Could.
You could?
Could see what Suikoden is up to.
Or
So, you know what? I'm glad that I went back to start that game over with Suikoden.
You're welcome for that name.
Yeah. It's a good name.
The name's very good.
Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Have a good one.
I'm hitting